For many, the Stony Point Reserve acts merely as a travel marker between Sarnia and Grand Bend. However, just 31 years ago, this was the site of a heated conflict.
This was the scene 22 years ago. Violent, tragic, deadly.
The largest of the three indigenous groups to occupy these lands, the Chippewa, were forced to migrate from present-day Minnesota to southern Ontario, largely for the impacts of American settlement. By the 17th century, a number of Ojibwe settlements existed along the southern shore of Lake Huron, Stony Point among them. Throughout the War of 1812, the Ojibwe people worked with British forces so as to prevent American invasion. The government provided veterans from these groups with small daily rations in exchange for their help. In 1827, the British established a reserve for the Ojibwe at Stony Point, whilst other land was made available for settlement.
Every summer since the end of the Second World War, cadets from across the country have come to Camp Ipperwash on Lake Huron to see for themselves if there really is no life like it.
This camp, quite frankly, is the Cadillac of cadet camps. It's the best cadet camp in the country.
Despite the importance of this land to the Ojibwe people, in 1942 the Canadian government took possession of the reserve, constructing a military base and barracks. The residents of Stony Point were forced to live elsewhere on the Kettle Point Reserve, causing overpopulation. When the reserve had yet to be returned in 1995, many decided to take matters into their own hands.
Still a lot of press down there?
No, there's no one down there. Just a big fat Indian.
Camera's rolling.
Yeah.
We had this plan, you know. We thought if we could get 5 or 6 cases of Labatt's 50, we could bait them.
Yeah.
Then we could have this big net at a pit. Creative thinking. Huh? Works in the south with watermelon.
On September 6, 1995, protester Dudley George was shot and killed by Officer Ken Dean.
They marched down like the Gestapo.
The cops told Dudley, come on to our side of the fence. Welcome to Canada. You want to be the first? You'll get it, Dudley.
They're just trying to make it peaceful. And they come in with their guns and they start shooting.
And like they were just shooting everywhere. Bow, 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 bow.
I ducked on the floor so I wouldn't get shot. They're screaming, hurry up, Mom, they're gonna kill us, get us out of here, hurry up.
Why did they have to wait till after dark to do this?
At that point, I don't know if he was still alive.
My brother done no more than pull a few moons at the OPP, but they come out and killed him. They murdered him.
Under the leadership of Premier Mike Harris, it would not be until 2003 that an investigation was held into the conflict. In 1997, Ken Dean was convicted of criminal negligence causing death. However, he died before being able to testify at the Ipperwash inquiry.
I'm confident that our officer acted in good faith in the performance of his duties, and he will continue to be supported appropriately.
Established on November 12, 2003, the inquiry gathered testimony from more than 140 witnesses between July 13, 2004 and June 28, 2006. It was concluded that the OPP was entirely misinformed of the situation at Ipperwash. Today, whilst the land has been returned to the Ojibwe, George's brother, Pierre, continues to live in a small, poorly insulated military house, and things are only starting to look up for the reserve.
Mr. Speaker, last week I experienced the honor and privilege of signing the historic Ipperwash Park transfer process agreement with Chief Liz Cloud and the Chippewas of Kettle and Stony Point and the residents of Azadina. During the course of that day, 2 interactions with people demonstrated to me just how significant this agreement really is. When I arrived after a traditional sunrise ceremony on the shores of Lake Huron, right in Ipperwash Park, I was greeted by a respected elder who, with tears in her eyes, gave me a huge hug and said, "I've waited all my life for this. I really never thought it would happen in my lifetime." A second moment of truth came after the ceremony when I was speaking with a group of school children. A young girl leaned over to me and said, My parents have been speaking about this land all my life. Does this mean it really is ours now? You can't believe the feeling I had explaining to these school children that this land will soon belong to them and their children when they have families. The excited look on their faces as they looked around at the beautiful land their forefathers once walked told the whole story.